Hello, welcome back. Another edition here of TribPreps, our video series here. It's now on week five. Wow,
Already.
Week five. We're back in. I am Alex Van Houten, the Crosse Tribune sports reporter, and to my left is the Crosse Tribune sports editor, Todd Sommerfeld, and we'll be breaking down, week five, previewing week five's action tomorrow night. Got a few good games here tonight, or on Friday night, I should say, and we'll run through them right now in the MVC. We have West Salem at Logan, Alaska at Sparta, which is the big game we'll have this weekend, and then Holmen Toma rounds out the MVC, and then over in the Swell Conference we'll have Iowa Grant versus Aquinas. Over at UWL there, it looks like Aquinas has another good shot in our victory, and Luther at Darlington. Over in the Scenic Bluffs, we have New Lisbon at Bangor, Cashton at Hillsborough, Brookwood at Necedah. South Central Conference, Mawson takes on GET, Nakusa at Black River Falls, and over in the SWC, the Southwest Conference, we'll have Arcadia Prairie du Chien, Platteville at Viroqua, Westby is traveling to Dodgeville, and in the Dairyland, Independence Gilmington will take on Blair Taylor, Melrose Minduro at Augusta, and in the Southeast White over in Minnesota there, we'll have Sheffield at Caledonia, and non-conference should be the last time we see non-conference. At least we hope so.
No, they'll continue.
We're going to continue. All right, we're going to continue. DeSoto at Royal and Central at Merrill here. And let's start out first. Alaska Sparta, we mentioned that was kind of our biggest game of probably the weekend here.
Yes.
Todd, you're going to be at that game. Both teams undefeated. It looks like they're really playing well.
Anna's only played one game.
Yeah, I was lost to Lake Mills.
Yep.
But both teams undefeated in MVC and have looked impressive while doing it. And they kind of come into Friday both playing really well.
It's hard to look at these two teams and not think about last year's game.
Yes.
62-55 win for Alaska, over 1,000 yards in the game. Teams just going back and forth up the field. But in talking to both coaches, one thing that's pretty obvious, the defenses are playing better.
Yeah.
They don't anticipate the same kind of game this year. I think both have the firepower to do it if defenses decide to lay down, but I don't think that's what's going to happen in this game. I think a lot of these kids played last year, especially on Alaska's side, and they're going to want to go out there and kind of redeem themselves in a game like this. If you're Sparta, you have the added incentive. I mean, yes, you're undefeated. They haven't beaten Alaska since 2003.
Wow.
So it's been a long time since they've been able to do
16 years, yeah.
And Adam Dow is one of those guys that the Sparta program is built over the last couple of years kind of into what it is, and they're now past we got to win or it's more of let's try to beat this team. We haven't beaten them in a long time, and they did that with Holmen last year. The same thing with Alaska. This is kind of the big one that's still up there for them. So they're going to be wired for this game. They're going to be ready to go. It's on their home field. It's homecoming. Along those same lines, if you're on Alaska, you probably feel good about going to a homecoming game because you don't have to deal with all that extra stuff that Sparta kids are going to have to deal with. So, but I expect both teams to be really focused and really ready to play a good game on Friday night, and we'll see where things go with it. But they certainly have a lot to play for in this game. It's kind of the first. Holmen Central was going to be the first big MVC matchup, and Jordan Davis gets hurt. It kind of changes things for Central in that regard, and Holmen won that game pretty handily, although Central made a run at them, that's for sure. But after that, this is the big one, and two teams that are playing very well right now.
And Hilltoppers, defensively, it just feels entirely different this year compared to maybe in the past. They really feel like they really have something there defensively. Levinsky, of course, Haggerty also on the line as well. Running down a guy like Wisniewski is going to, be pretty important come Friday.
Well, yeah, if you're on Alaska, as Coach Yashinsky said, is you can't let the Division I guy beat you.
Yeah.
It may happen, but you can't allow it to happen and by that he means by scheming for other things. You have to scheme for Wisniewski and try to stop him. If someone else beats you, someone else beats you, but you can't just kind of lay down to that Division I kid that Cole is, and they're going to need to try to make his life miserable. They're going to have to get some pass rush on him. They're going to have to, hit him when they can hit him. But at the same time, he's the kind of guy where if you get that pass rush on him and it fails, he gets out of the pocket, who knows what's going to happen. It makes things a lot more dangerous. So they're going to have to be calculated in what they do. And like I said, I think they're going to be ready for this game. I think it's going to be tough for Cole to do a lot in this one. I know Sparta's going to rely on him to do a lot, and he's going to want want to, and he may end up doing it, but he's gonna have to work for it. That's for sure.
It seems like Wisniewski this year is more comfortable with his arm though, a little bit.
It seems like he's throwing the ball better this year, and over the summer he said that was something he worked on to get a little better at it. And we've said it many times on here. They got this new cast of characters that not a lot of people knew about if they were outside of Sparta. Sparta certainly knew about them. Knew these guys they were going to be putting out on the field, and they're all responding very well to new roles. And I've really given them 4 big wins to get going. This obviously will be the biggest if they can win the game. But I'm really looking forward to seeing these two teams match up. They're, like I said, they're both playing very good football right now, so it's a good time for it to happen.
Yeah, and so Todd will be at that game Friday night, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Yes.
And so follow him along. He'll provide updates, video, and all that stuff will be up for that big game. Like I said, it's Central Holmen was last week, and Alaska Sparta is a big one in the MVC this week. And it's it's really going to start getting the crunch time as we get in the meat of the schedule here. It's going to start getting a lot of fun.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Yep. And let's move forward. Let's move on to the MVC. We'll talk about Holmen Toma. Holmen, of course, coming off a big win against Central last week. You mentioned, had a little bit of a buzzkill with the Jordan Davis injury, but, Holmen still went out there and did what Holmen does.
Yes, and in this game you have two teams kind of going opposite directions with Holmen coming off the win and Toma won his first 2, lost the next 2, lost to Sparta last week. Turned the ball over a lot, which certainly isn't going to help it against Holmen if that
4
happens.
interceptions, right? 4 interceptions. And
Holmen's going to have a tough defense in that game already. So I think Holmen goes into the game in pretty good position the way they ran the ball last week. Didn't complete a pass last week, but 3 of them were like off fingertips. I mean, they were really close, and then 1 was way off the mark. But the other 3 were pretty close, so it certainly doesn't mean it's not going to happen on Friday. But again, with this one, I think if Holmen makes some plays and forces a couple of turnovers, they'll be able to get things going their way pretty quick.
Yeah, and let's jump over to Aquinas here.
3-1.
3-1. Yeah, 3-1. And then I know you talked to Tom this week, and they're pretty excited because they got a pretty good feeling they're gonna pick up their 4th straight win here.
They feel good going into the matchup. They should with the way they've played. Yeah. The games are going to get a lot tougher in the coming weeks, specifically the next 3 after this one. Iowa Grant hasn't won a game yet, so if you're Aquinas, it's go in and take care of business, and they haven't been in that position in a long time to go in and take care of business. Yeah, everything's been we got a chance to win this game, and now this is a game that I think they go in feeling like they should win, and the way they played would lead me to believe the same thing if I were them. So they go in, play another good game, and all of a sudden, that's 3 wins. You're 1 win away from the playoffs. And they haven't been to the playoffs in quite a while. So it's a good opportunity for Aquinas, and they get to play at UWL. So I think they're really looking forward to Friday night. Yeah,
and Aquinas too. I mean, you mentioned in the last couple of weeks here, just they had really been building towards this season a little bit. They had been building up, but it's got to be good to see, actually see a few wins come on the board too.
Well, and that's what Tom Lee, the coach, said is it's nice to get results.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they hadn't won games didn't mean these guys weren't in there working hard every day. No reason to believe they weren't. But they're doing what coaches want, and when you're facing the numbers issue they were facing, it's just tough to get wins, and now they're out there working hard and they're actually getting wins out of it. So it's got to give them some confidence moving forward, and they'll need confidence the next 3 weeks when they play some of these tough teams that are coming up, Mineral Point, Darlington, that kind of thing.
And we'll have a reporter out there as well Friday night at UWL to watch Aquinas take on Iowa Grant. So we'll be covering that as well. And we'll jump to another game we're going to be at that I'll actually be at, Sheffield against Caledonia. The Gophers always seem to be that team, the one question mark a little bit, is they're going to be the team that knocks off Caledonia within the Three Rivers Conference. But it seems like really this year that Sheffield, they just lost to Triton, who Triton seems like they're hit or miss, every year.
Triton has been very, very good, and have had some struggles. So.
Well, I remember what was that 2-3 years ago? Triton almost beat Caledonia. Were they up 21-0?
Yeah, and Caledonia came back and ended up winning that game.
Extended their streak here.
Yeah, but they got a big night in Caledonia with a big concert and
6 o'clock start time,
so
a little bit different.
6 o'clock start
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And as you said, it's Sheffield. This is the game that everybody says, is this the team that can beat Caledonia? So we'll see on Friday night.
Yeah, we will see on Friday night, is right. And like I said, I'll be at that game. We'll also have another reporter at West Salem at Holt Logan. Let's just touch on that game real quick.
Two teams that need a win.
In desperate need of wins.
Yes.
I thought, I was a little disappointed in Logan's effort last week. It was a very tough game for them, obviously, with Alaska. And the energy that Alaska came out with, too, after losing against Lake Mills the previous week was top-notch. But Logan really was never in that game.
Which is, that's, and I talked to Coach Yashinsky the same thing. Logan has done a very good job of challenging good
Exactly.
teams.
So I think we were a little surprised by that score.
Yes.
And how big of a beatdown Anna put on them.
That's how angry Alaska was.
Yeah.
After losing to Lake Mills.
So do not get Alaska angry. I think or else the next opponent will pay like Logan did.
Yes.
And West Salem, at least Logan has at least one win this year.
Right.
But West Salem.
It's all about conference wins.
All about conference wins. Exactly. It's all about conference wins, and it's looking like these two teams. This is going to be the best opportunity.
Yeah,
potentially.
And I think with West Salem, they're changing some personnel around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they got kind of walloped by Lake Mills last week. That same team came to West Salem and beat West Salem last week, and that wasn't one where West Salem was asking how it lost after. They kind of got steamrolled in that one, and that doesn't happen on Alaska. Mm-hmm. Even on seasons where they haven't had a ton of wins, this is a team that traditionally has a good defense out there and stays in games. So I think that it's just an odd position for them because this doesn't happen in West Salem. You don't lose one-sided games there, even if you don't win it. So I think if they get more comfortable with some of the changes that they've been making, and maybe they have some injuries I'm not sure about that happened last week. I haven't talked to Coach Yane this week, but if they can keep trying to build on what they started with the Holmen game, which wasn't so one-sided, score-wise anyways.
Yeah.
And go out and play West Salem football and let their quarterback get a little more comfortable, get a big play here or there, and just kind of hang in there and see what happens. And it's so weird to say that about West Salem, but that's kind of the situation that they're in this year.
It's too bad they couldn't get that first victory against GT because it was that type of game, like you said. Defense kept them close, and then GT just made. Luke Vance made a couple plays, Bryce Burns made a couple plays that, the Redhawks got them the victory, and that's kind of what West Salem's lacking. That guy that could just maybe provide a play or two that can kind of change the course of a game, a 60, 70-yard run.
And the Redhawks are tearing people up right now.
Yep, and they'll
scoring 70 and 60 in the last couple of weeks,
and I don't see
they
that.
Should do the same. I think
Boston,
they'll kind of roll in this one because it's in their home game too, and having those two guys like you said, Burns and Vance, kind of been unstoppable at this point. So, but I think that's another winnable game certainly for GET and gets them closer to trying to win that South Central Conference and their first chance of playing in it.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely have a great opportunity. But as for me, like we said, Friday night, follow all of us on Twitter. Todd Sommerfeld, Alex Van Houten. We'll have Matt Murphy. He's going to be at the Aquinas game. Eric Lee is going to be at West Salem Logan. So follow us for any videos. We'll be posting that type of stuff on Twitter and as highlights come in and that type of stuff during our games. And we'll also have the gamers up online right after and doing all that stuff.
CrosseTribune.com.
Yep, so go to CrosseTribune.com. That's where you're going to find it. That's where it's been. That's where you're going to continue to find it. And we're doing a lot of good stuff. So a lot of stuff you'll be well taken care of there. So
and updates throughout the weekend. So,
yep.
So don't be shy about coming back.
Yep, photos too, photo collections, galleries, that type of stuff.
Yep.
So keep on coming back. We put a lot of work into it. And we're proud of it. So we like it a lot. So as for me, I'm Alex. We got to wrap this up here. I'm Alex Van Houten, Todd Sommerfeld. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks. Bye.